with Ray and Dee. I'm Dee.
And I'm Ray.
And this is another series of our Mask Mondays where we feature a mask and we practice some self-care. So today's mask is going to be a Rasul Rose Water Clay Mask.
And Rasul clay has so many different benefits. It's kind of like bentonite clay. It's a natural cleanser, so it really helps clean out your pores, get rid of any excess sebum. I have some tingling sensations right here, so I think, you know, something about to happen. So I want to prick. I want to prick before, you know, something
and honestly,
happens.
sometimes around our hormonal cycles as women, we may have a little flare up of our skin. So this might be a good way to either combat that or prevent it. So join us with this new clay mask. And it has this really pretty red color, you know, February.
So in this mask, like we said, Rasul clay is kind of like the featured ingredient. But another ingredient that we're featuring is Nori, of course, and it is our rose water. So rose water is also really good. It's an antibacterial, so it also helps with acne. It also helps with moisturizing the skin. It naturally hydrates the skin. It also temporarily tightens it, so you know, you can look up there.
You're 26.
In age or whatever. You got a couple of lines. Through, we can help you, sis. And yeah, it helps also shrink the pores. So we're gonna clean out the pores, shrink them bad boys, and order and check while we do that.
Yes, and this clay also includes some aloe vera gel, some vitamin E, and a few drops of vitamin C just for that brightening effect.
Right.
Today's topic,
guys, today what we were so compelled to talk about while we do our mask, right? Daphne, you want to introduce this topic because I feel like it's super relevant to you right now.
Yeah, I think so, but I feel like
me too.
So this topic, we're just gonna call it your biological clock is ticking, girl.
Your clock is ticking, girl.
Your clock is ticking, girl. And honestly, I feel like no matter what stage in life you are as a woman, there's this clock that's like hovering over your head that people want to remind you of. And it's like you hit a milestone and then it's like something else. Like you finish school when you get married. You get married when you're having kids. You have kids when you're buying a house. Like it's always like something. And I feel like that pressure like intensifies for ourselves because as women we may have our own personal goals. But why do people why do people feel the need to like put that pressure on us or put that standard of when things are supposed to happen as if they know what's going on in our lives?
So annoying, actually. And
it's
like, you know, you kind of start to like have some anxiety about it because that's all you hear, right? And I think in terms of like, for example, like if we're gonna use the topic of bearing children, right? So more and more I'd say on media, more and more right, we're just gonna give her a minute because she's having a moment. I guess she's passionate about the topic, right, girl?
Right, girl.
So more and more I feel like on media we see like, you know, women sharing their stories, and I'm truly appreciative that women are humbled by the fact that women are really opening up about their struggles sometimes that they may experience, because there's such a negative stigma, right? When you're like trying, it's like, wait, you didn't have it yet. But it's also super rude to ask people like, oh, like, so where's the kids?
Yeah.
Mind your business. You in my business.
I'm realizing that more and more because like I can't say I got a lot of pressure about when are you getting married. I did. Well, now
once she got married, literally
the same day,
at her wedding, and it's like, are y'all serious? Like, can we cut the cake? Like,
word.
Damn.
I mean, I was in in med school, residency, and I'm still in training now as I'm in fellowship. So I feel like people always kind of thought like, oh, she's busy with school, she's busy with her doctor thing, so she'll get to it and I'll pray for you. So I never really got that pressure from family. But as soon as I got married, like literally, well, I got married pretty quickly. We were engaged.
Coming out of the area fast.
I was engaged and married in like 3 or 4 weeks, and obviously we were in a pandemic, which kind of prompted us to do it a lot quicker, and I wanted something small and intimate, so I didn't really need that much time to plan.
I'm sorry, yeah, there was so much going on, and she literally did her wedding in like 3 weeks. I really wanted to like vlog the experience because it was honestly a dope ass wedding. Was. But it was really, just...
we'll share some clips and like stories about that if you guys are interested. But nonetheless, so I got married pretty quickly, and people at first assume like, oh, she getting married so fast because she's pregnant. Like, oh, you pregnant? Oh, you pregnant? This is like a shotgun wedding? And it wasn't. I truly just wanted to, we were living together and wanted to just get married and be official and not wait forever to do that, especially with the pandemic, not knowing how things were gonna like happen, like how things were gonna happen during the winter time. So we got married, and literally right after then, it's like, all right, so you pregnant yet? All right, so where's the baby? All right, so like I'm praying for you, and I welcome all the prayers. I want children, but like let us figure that out as a couple. Let us figure out when the right time is financially. Yes, I understand I'm a certain age and I don't have forever, but I'm a woman, I'm a physician, I know that. I don't need the pressure of like you counting my eggs and like assuming that like you asking is either gonna make me feel good. Like, is that supposed to make me feel good? Like, is that supposed to remind me like, oh, have babies? And it's like, I feel like we need to be,
and I feel like you almost don't get to enjoy your marriage, because then sometimes the guy and the girl and the woman and the husband and the wife might start to feel this pressure and kind of look at each other like, so what's the issue? And then it's like, can you imagine like sex if with that pressure, like get out of here. Like,
and honestly, I'm starting to realize that, because yes, we want to try for a child and we want to have kids sooner than later, but like now it's like when you're like being intimate, like, oh, like is this gonna be like should I watch my ovulation cycle? Like, oh, how many times should we have sex this week? Like it's, and I'm like, wait, it becomes a chore. Like, hold up, like I am a newly married woman. I need to enjoy this time. I'm gonna enjoy this season where it's just my husband and I'm gonna enjoy this season where we can be financially like try to build, try to like hit some goals, enjoy our time together, even though the stupid pandemic is like keeping us from like really going out and like balling whatever, but like still like enjoy this season, because when you have kids, that's a whole new season. You can't go back to just you and your husband. You're gonna have a child everywhere you go. You're gonna be thinking about that child, you're gonna be worried about that child. Like, it's gonna be all about the child. Yes. So it's like I also had to remind myself, let me enjoy this season, and what God wills, he wills. When it's the right time, it will happen. And the same applies for like someone who's trying to get married. Or like,
I ain't trying to get married, but at least not yet. I mean, I'm one of those people who's like, it happens and it happens. My issue though, and it's I'm sure other cultures have maybe something similar, but Haitian culture is like, y'all look weird sometimes. Like, it's like too. For your entire life, right, until you get that degree, it's like boys and books don't mix, no friends, no dating. Marley, stop being disrespectful.
He's co-signing.
Don't be, you know what I mean? Like, don't be messing around. Take school serious. And it's like literally instantly when you graduate, it's like the man is supposed to fall from the sky. And it's like there's no prep.
Like, it was so weird. It was like night and day. Like, daddy would always be about books, go to school, be the best, go to school. And then it's like, so like, you dating? I'm like, what?
Right, you never even talk to me about like what type of man. It's like, as he better have a good career and a good thing. And it's like, there's so much to go that you don't just into like dating.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just wake up and know how to attract the right man. Like, let's talk about that. Like, you don't just like, physical looks only are temporary. And if you want a lasting, substantial, like, a relationship that feeds your soul, you're gonna need to do a lot more work on yourself.
And you have to discover what you like. Like, a lot of women, we don't necessarily know what we like if we don't have a lot of experience experience. So it's like, I would say myself, as well as a lot of my friends, we kind of got into this place. Well, I was disappointed already. I had a boyfriend in high school, but it's just like a lot of people
I just got what she said. No, I was like, you were disobedient. You had a boyfriend.
I had a boyfriend in high school, and so my mom just pulled up. Yeah, Daphne was a goody two shoe our whole life. Me, I was very like y'all bugging, you know. But it's like depending on the person's temperament. Something that, you know, somebody might be like, yeah, I don't want to upset my parents, because another Haitian thing, Haitian parents will guilt you.
Word.
Okay, you trying to kill me?
Word.
Oh, you want me to have a stroke? You want me to
I got all the salt in your food wants you to have a stroke. Not me.
So all that fucking griot. Okay, but no, it's just but it's just like, you know, it doesn't really like make sense to not have these dialogues. I do feel like there's a time for everything, and sometimes when you are like, if you're in medical school, I'm sure you couldn't really devote so much time into dating, right? Or and it, again, it depends on the person, right? But it's just like, I feel like, come on, stop it. My mom, I will never forget when I asked, you remember when I asked mommy about her first kids? I was in high school, y'all, and I just simply was like, Mom, you know, tell me, like, what happened to your first kids? I didn't even ask her, like, her first time, like, doing the nasty. I said kids. My mom went crazy. Oh, my God. But she calls Daphne. That's what she always does. When she doesn't know what to do with me, she calls Daphne and is like, talk to your sister. And it's like, do y'all know that she's bugging out? Like, you know what I mean? So it sucks, because then you graduate and then it's like, okay, where's the man? I don't know how to get the man. You know what I mean? I don't, like, I've been stuck in my house. You told me boys and books don't match. You told me not to have no friends. How do you expect me to, like, figure this out now? You want me to just, you know,
they expect you to be like the social butterfly and understand how to interact with people without ever having that kind of interaction.
Right.
Like, it doesn't work that way.
It does not
and
work
honestly,
that way.
I feel like the solution is, as a generation, knowing what that balance is. Like I always say, every child is different. Every parenting style is different. That's why there's no book about what the perfect answer is to when to introduce certain topics to your child. You have to know your child. So I feel like parents, their duty are to get to know their children, get to know their developmental, like, where are they mentally, what kind of environment they're exposed to, when they're exposed to certain things.
You gotta be with the times too.
Yeah, you can't. I'm not saying like don't talk about certain things ever, or don't talk about things too soon. You gotta know your child. You gotta know your environment. And you gotta be willing to have those conversations.
It's uncomfortable. Don't get me wrong, but don't think they're not gonna get the information.
And then I feel like
elsewhere.
when you make it like taboo, your kid is more likely to go explore it on their own and then get the wrong information.
They're gonna get some type of information,
and
right
or wrong. It could be the wrong information at the wrong time, or the wrong person introducing it to them. Introducing to a way where it's either perverted or lustful when it's not the meaningful of it. So it's like, we just have to make our part as a newer generation to see where we could have liked things differently as we grew up, and then implement that for our future.
So for you, do you feel like your clock is ticking?
Like I said, I'm 32, right? I don't know. I feel like once I turn 30, I don't know how old I am. Yes, I'm 32. I just turned 32. I mean, I'd like to have children, and I'm not gonna lie. With nowadays, you hear like people having fertility issues all the time. It's scary because you don't know, like, oh, is that gonna be my story? Right. And I'm literally like praying that's just not my story. And you know, we have a plan to have children, and we have children when the right time comes, and it doesn't come like in like forever. So I don't feel like I'm pressured to have them right now, but I do feel a little pressure to have them soon. I would like to have them now.
I think that's real.
Yeah, I'd like to have them soon. I'm just afraid of dealing with infertility issues. Like, I mean, we don't have it notoriously in our family, but there are just women who do struggle with that. And it's you know, more and more people are talking about it, which makes it more like, okay, we can talk about like what it's like to go through a miscarriage, or what it's like to deal with infertility. And it's not always the woman. You know, both partners need to get, you know, evaluated if you are dealing with it. So there's definitely more of a discussion, which makes it more like, you know, less taboo. But I also feel like I'm just scared of having to deal with it if I keep waiting longer. So I feel pressure just because I understand science. So I feel like, yes, my clock is ticking from a science perspective, and yes, I want to give mommy grandkids. She's like really, she loves these dogs, but she wants some kids. So, and I also want to give it to her when she's like in her right mind and she can actually like care for them, and I could leave her with the kids and not be like, oh, like I need to watch my mom too. So I want to take advantage of her being like in her right mind and fully capable of moving around and doing everything on her own, and like
spending time with the kids.
Yeah, and spending time with the kids, and the kids growing up with her, you know, as she is now. So I do feel those pressures, but I feel like I put them on myself, not necessarily other people putting them on me. Even though literally last month I came home to Brooke and mom was like, so you get your period? And I'm like, oh my God, I've been married for all of 2 months. Like, give me a second.
And it's like, let me tell you. Like, you know what I mean? Let me announce you don't need to be clocking me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
But you have to also, you know, educate our parents. Because, again, it's a cultural thing. Yeah. It's an era thing. Like, you know, in their era, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing to ask. And so you kind of have to kind of educate them. Like, you know, that's a little rude and a little like,
but I feel like also when it comes from your mom, I guess she assumes it's not rude if it comes from her. If it comes from like an aunt that I never talked to, then yeah, I feel like, all right, mind your business.
But don't you feel like that kind of just constantly being asked those kind of questions, don't you think, even though I know it's not coming from a place, it's genuine curiosity or genuine, like she is anticipating it, but don't you feel like that also kind of like
puts pressure on me?
Applies pressure?
It does.
And I think that's important to say.
But I feel like whether she says ask me or not, like we all know mommy wants kids so bad, so I feel like the pressure's there regardless.
But it applies a little bit extra pressure. For example, this weekend we in the kitchen and like my mom randomly just starts, Missy Senya, we're gonna put translation. Missy Senya Potocado. And it's just like, mom, what? Like, it is, again, I'm not like saying it's negative. I love that my mom is a prayer warrior and she's a praying mom. And
I like I said, because I'm afraid of like fertility issues, I'm like, I'm not gonna turn that down. Like, pray that, I mean, my issue with it is like, maybe it's not gonna come this month or next month because we're not ready for it, but I do want it to come, so pray that it comes when it's in the right time, that it comes
right. I think everybody's just like, stress. It has to come now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm praying too. I want a niece and nephew, but I'm not like, yes, yeah. Like, I don't want to do that to her. You feel me? Like, it's okay. And I'm constantly on
such a type A person. It's like, I'm already doing it to myself, so I don't want the extra pressure of other people adding that on.
And Daphne's not the type to tell anybody like, stop. Me, I'm shutting it down since day one. When people was like, oh, you getting married? No. No.
Why? Don't say that.
Right. It's like, no, I'm not. I have no interest. I'm good.
Well, that's a good way to shut that conversation down.
Yeah, just don't stop asking me. Like, no.
But then imagine if, oh my God, if I went and told people, no, I don't want any kids.
I don't, right. No, yeah, I don't want any. I'm good.
We're not having any. They'd be like, what? Oh my God, what abomination.
Because it's like, also the idea is like, now you feel like you are disappointing something. Seriously? She's sleeping.
That's Marley. Like, just antagonizing Madison.
It's like you
every video is gonna have a little clip of these dogs doing it. Oh, I thought she was.
You feel like you're disappointing somebody, and it's like when it comes to like my body, my family, like you had your kids. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. Like, I don't want to. That's about me and my family, you know. So I don't want any outside emotions. Like, if you're going through it personally, okay, that's something that you're going through. But it's annoying to have to also deal and consider somebody else's emotions.
Because then imagine if you do deal with fertility issues or you just haven't found the right man. Someone constantly asking you that, it's like adding more trauma to the whole situation. It's rude. And there's a certain way, like if you have a certain relationship with someone, then yes, you can ask. My mom can ask me. But it's like for certain people to then ask, like, no, you don't have that privilege. Just wait and see and pray for me on your end. Like, you don't need to tell me you're praying for me. You could just pray for me.
Right, you're not supposed to announce it. It's in the Bible. You're not supposed to announce every time you're praying for somebody.
Like, you could just pray for me, and then when it happens, you congratulate me, you support me, and you're there for me. But sometimes just asking constantly without having, like, okay, let's say you're asking and you're a fertility doctor. Maybe you can offer some advice. Maybe you can offer some, like,
or
help.
wait for me to talk about it.
Yeah.
If I bring it up to you, then okay, I'm obviously inviting you and letting you know that I want to talk about this. But for you to just randomly be like, so where's the babies? No kids yet? She got married in
also
October.
the way you say it, also, like, you know, like what do you mean?
No kids yet? No.
Like, something is wrong with you because you don't have kids yet. Like, it's been 3 months.
Why are you watching my sex life? Like, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, so that was our little rant about that. Sorry that we kind of went on and on about it, but I think it's super relevant because in so many different aspects, like we said, babies, getting married, starting to date, whatever it can be. I'm sure. I wonder, like, what it is if guys have like a biological clock. Like, is there something?
Actually,
do they get that pressure
so
too?
Schneider actually went to his uncle's house, and he was like, oh, you know, like, you any kids yet? Literally, we've been married for like 2 months. Any kids yet? Like, you know, like, you're not really part of the family until you start having kids. And
he said you're not really having a family if you don't have a partner.
No. It was like it's when you start having kids that you become like 2 families, because like now you have like, you know, like something.
Okay. I get what he's saying.
Yeah, not in a bad way. Like, just like if you, like, we're family by marriage now because we're married, but then like to really tie the knot is like when you like create a human being together, and that's when the families really come together. So it's kind of like, wow, like even he's getting a little bit of like, how's it going?
Yeah, right.
How's it going? But I'm sure it doesn't affect them as much. But I feel like right now with so many fertility stuff, like between, again, men and women, men are starting to feel that pressure too. Like, is there something wrong with me?
Right.
Do I need to like go get checked out?
I mean, I think everybody should go get checked out anyways. Anyways, we said we're gonna stop rambling.
Yeah, no more rambling.
But please comment again, guys, and let us know what you guys feel about this topic. What are some other things that you feel like you get that pressure from? If there's any like cultural differences, how do you combat that? And yeah, we're gonna go wash this off and we'll come back.
Did yours harden?
Not at all.
Mine did.
Honestly,
I think yours did.
It dried, like, maybe the areas that I put like a thinner layer.
Yeah.
I was over here like, this is the thing about masculinity. I would just sit here and paint my face.
I know. It feels so good
while you're talking.
It feels so good. I kept going back to this bowl, like just adding this spot.
Yeah, this is fine.
It's really good.
So, but it feels really nice though.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll let it sit for a few more minutes. My good sis, she is depressed these days. She said, y'all keep bringing this little, yeah, I'm the new dog in town. Y'all can't do nothing about that. I'ma apply pressure every time I come to the spot. Alright guys, we're back.
Got the clay off of our face.
How do you feel about it?
And glowing. I liked it. It wasn't drying
at all.
I really like putting little drops of vitamin E in our mask, because when you wash it off, you don't feel like your skin is like tight and dry.
And I feel like clay masks tend to do that sometimes. Like you put on a clay mask, your face just feels mad like tight and like dry.
Like,
but
put alcohol
this time I did not feel like that at all. So I think it was a combination of the vitamin E, like you said, and the rose water.
And yeah, exactly. The rose water is known for hydration, so I feel like that was definitely a good add. So I'm just gonna finish off with our lip gloss.
I put some on.
Yes. This is one of my favorite colors that we've got so far. We have a dark nude.
And it was also an accident. And this is
a peachy nude. And a peachy one. And it goes on so nicely.
Yeah, it feels really smooth.
And it has a little hint of chocolate.
What y'all think, y'all?
Yes. Glowing. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of M&M. Join us next Monday for another chat. Drop down comments below, please, what you think about this topic, and also other topics that we can discuss on M&M.
Yeah.
Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Check out maisonneurie.com, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
It's a wrap.